Okay, it is recording.
All right. And we came onto the show today not really knowing what we were going to do. We kind of whittled it down. I'm still not even sure. Are we going to do blobs or
We're gonna do
sisters or
all of it.
both?
We're gonna do all of it, I think,
Okay.
if we have time.
Okay.
Okay, so I wanted to talk about my wet hair first 'cause I feel like that's like a
Okay.
issue.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
It's an issue because I usually don't have my hair wet, but I had to
She took her annual shower, you guys.
no, I have dandruff and it was really itchy and I just needed to do like an emergency soak. I had the shampoo in my hair soaking for a minute. And
I
I
get
feel
the itch. I understand it.
I, you know, yeah, so I had to do that last minute because I can't channel with trying to. Okay.
I get it.
Anyway, so we wanted to channel. It was Kari's idea to channel past life
I'm
versions of us as
or
extraterrestrials.
concurrent. I don't know when they're alive.
They could be alive right now. Yeah.
I know.
Okay.
It's 1:17 at my house, by the way. And I'm going to
It's
tell my version of how
11:17.
I remember. Huh?
It's eleven
What?
seventeen here.
Oh, that one's even better. So a long time ago, it was like, I don't know, it was like a private reading or just, when we were still practicing. It was a long time ago. And I think that it was Jax that brought us versions of ourselves that were sisters on a different planet. And he described us as being, humanoid with long skulls.
Oh
And the
yeah.
thing that I remembered about this that was so interesting to me was the clothes. And so I really want to talk about this again. I mean, fucking alien clothes. But it's so interesting to me because, on the front, this is how I remember. On the front of it, there was like a pattern or a window or a design or something, and it moved. It didn't stay stationary. Like it was like pixelated or had like a video or something. I don't know what it was, or even if I'm right or remembering it crazy, but we'll investigate that a little bit. So that's what we're going to check out. We were sissy pantses before.
All right, let me tap into that while I'm actively tapping into them and waiting for them to come forth. I wanted to real quick talk about how the Sarsar view past lives and being able to
Okay.
channel them. And I was talking to Sam about it, saying this is what we're going to talk about for Stardust today. And Sam, was like, okay, that's nice, but he was kind of like, that's not real. Like he doesn't believe that you can channel past life versions of yourself. And I asked, is that just you, or is that? He's like, that's overall. We pretty much don't believe that you can
Okay.
channel your higher self. They believe in that concept, but they don't think you can talk to them. They're like, because it's you. That doesn't make sense. So I found that
That is
interesting.
confusing. It is interesting that I know because I have to feel like that we're. Oh, I hate to call it more evolved. It's not really that. It's just a different understanding. But I do kind of feel like we know a little bit more than you guys do because we know it can happen. But you know what else I thought one time might be cool too? I don't know if Sam would go for it, but if you would trans channel his higher self, because I want to get the scoop of his connection to M6, because I love that stuff,
His higher self is fucking sexy. All right.
Let's do that one day.
Okay, so they're here. Their energy is not super strong. I don't know
Mhm.
what's going on with that, but you go ahead and start asking a question of some kind. Hopefully, they'll come in
Okay.
stronger over time.
All right. Well, hello, other alien versions of us. Heather gave me an impression that you're Sirians. Is that correct?
They're from they said we're from the Sirian constellation. Is that a constellation?
I don't know.
I don't know. They said we come from that area, that general area.
Okay. Can you see them? What are
Kind
they?
of, yeah. They have their eyes. This is the one thing that's really sticking out to me is how their eyes don't really have the white like we do behind the iris. It's like the whole eye is the same color. And it's like
Mm.
this one of them it's like this light blue.
Hmm. How
It's a,
beautiful.
it's pretty. You know what they remind me of?
Huh.
The way the eyes are shaped, just a little bigger. It's Cleopatra, like that sculpture of her head, of just her head.
Huh?
That's what it
What are
reminds
their
me of.
heads like? Do they have big long heads?
They do, but that's like I said with Cleopatra, it reminds me of the way she had her hat, and it's
Uh-huh.
that long hat. They have like this long kind of veil hat thing that goes down.
Interesting. I wonder if maybe Cleopatra knew some of them and was emulating that look in some way.
They're smiling and going like that, nodding their head.
Really?
Nice.
How cool.
Um,
Okay, so
they're talking about the
girl,
Egyptian culture. They're saying your Egyptian culture took a lot of their influence from not only us but other extraterrestrial beings during that time. They had a lot of contact that many don't know about.
interesting. And are we sisters? Are we?
Yes. Yes, we're sisters.
And I heard that, and is it true that we're some kind of royalty or something? Is that
They're
true?
giggling. Found it funny. And they're wearing these long robes, these long gowns, and they when they lift up their arm to giggle, like hee hee, it's like this long little train on their arms too. It's like,
Huh.
um, yes, we're sisters. We're not quite royalty. It doesn't quite work like that. Our elected leaders, they are treated like royalty. And they said,
Okay.
one of them saying, well, not really elected. It's more of, it's granted to you and it's a long-term position.
Okay. Huh.
Didn't you guys die? Like,
Yeah, are you
like,
alive? Are you alive right now in our
no,
time?
so no, they're not alive. Um, they're saying we're showing ourselves as we were in that lifetime. So I'm assuming we're
Okay.
talking to our higher selves and they're just showing themselves
Okay,
like
okay.
that.
Will you
Did you?
describe the nature of our relationship as siblings? Are we close like we are now? Is it a similar dynamic?
Yes, very much close. They're talking about the trouble they would get into, and I think we talked about this before. Um, they're saying we mostly get in trouble because we would always want to talk to boys. We're always about getting married, and we would go off and be with boys, the group of us. They're very old-fashioned in that culture. I don't know, maybe if we're this species a long time ago, and this is not how they
Uh-huh.
are now.
Okay.
But they're saying that that they couldn't be alone with boys because it was improper. And but they assumed the two sisters were saying, well, both of us are going to go be with them, so we're not technically alone.
We found a loophole.
Right. And so they would go off and hang out with, like, there was mostly the guards and the soldiers around. I guess it was like a palace they lived in.
Okay.
But it was only like a palace if your parent was like a leader or something in
Okay.
that community. Um, oh, they're talking about my book. The
Go.
one I haven't gotten published yet. The one
Right.
that I'm struggling with finding an
Right.
agent.
Oh.
Fucking publishing industry. Anyway, they're talking about how I channeled a lot about that lifetime for this book for my character, the main character. So,
Really? So who
yeah.
is it? So tell, elaborate. This is exciting. Is Margaret based off of somebody that you guys know?
She's saying, I don't know who it is saying, but one of them saying it is more of like an embodiment of all of us, of like who we were during that time.
It's you.
Selfish
Oh.
brats, they're saying. We had everything handed to us, and so we didn't know any other way of life. We thought like any kind of minor inconvenience was wrong. Like we didn't have to,
Uh,
like, not
Take out
that it
the
was,
trash.
yeah, yeah, like they didn't have to do that kind of stuff. Even though they were supposed to, like they really saw themselves as royalty, and they really
Oh
painted
my
themselves
gosh.
like that. They're just
Were we
spoiled little,
bratty?
yeah,
Were we,
spoiled little brats. But
ooh,
they
we were
said,
Margaret.
but they're saying that they really enjoyed it. They're saying the point of that lifetime, so they're getting more
Yeah.
in a spiritual sense, is,
Okay.
and they're saying this can apply to anyone else who ever feels like they're being too selfish. Sometimes there's periods in our lives when we need to be selfish, and it's that good time to, it's very healing. And it can be and fun in a different way. Sometimes having fun is really cleansing for the soul, to let go and not be as serious about everything. And they're saying we weren't serious about anything in that life. If anything, getting married was something we were serious about. We didn't quite get to that point. We had
Why?
they're saying there was
Wait,
like this revolution that happened during that time. This sounds very human.
sounds very your book.
Yeah, it does. And they're saying
I don't want to go to the poverty pockets.
No, they're talking about how they were killed during the whole thing.
Okay.
They're saying that the whole system was corrupt and the people fought back, and they're saying this happened a long time ago, so way before humans even had like tools and stuff yet. Like,
wow.
if you put that into a mind,
okay,
a frame of mind, time frame. What is that? Time frame. Let's see. What other questions could we ask them?
I actually had a question. Oh,
sorry. They wanted to talk about more of like what they did every day.
Yeah, let's hear it.
Okay, so give me a second to listen, make sure I get it.
Okay.
Absolutely right. Okay, so what I'm seeing is this image of them in this huge, tall palace. Like, everything's really tall, but it's not made like our palaces are, which most are made out of like marble on the inside. It's this kind of a clay. And it feels like it's underground, but it's not. But it's like this clay dirt thing, and they're saying to them that was the nicest, most extravagant material they had during that time.
We got the fine mud. Got it.
Yeah, got the fine mud. And they found that funny. But I just see them walking down this wide hallway, and it's dark outside. But they're talking about how they would always sneak out at night. They would leave. They would hang out with a lot of the soldiers and guards because I was the only men that were around them all the time. We were teases. We would love to tease the men, even though we knew that we didn't want to be with them and that they couldn't even be with us because of our social status.
They'd get beheaded, man.
No, not quite. They would just be relieved from their position. They're saying we weren't barbaric. But they're saying that was a lot of fun. Like, it was just joy and fun and nothing serious in that lifetime. And we died fairly young, so we weren't. They're saying the whole point of that lifetime was to just have that joy, have that fun. Because they're saying if you were to think about time in a linear sense, we've had such serious lifetimes, and it's almost like that was a break, but we still wanted to like experience life itself. There's a lot of joy that comes out of experiencing life. And we want to experience that joy and have like a vacation within a lifetime.
That's so cool. A vacation life. I love that.
Interesting. That's what it was.
So here's another kind of a spiritual, personal question, but because we got the higher selves, I was thinking about this the other day because, I'm a whole twin thing, and I know that I have romantic soulmates, but I wondered if you and I, if we have a common theme of coming in as, sisters and friends, if that is our main dynamic.
Always. Not always. It's not always the rule, because sometimes there's exceptions. But we tend to. They're saying we're also not in every single lifetime together at the same time. Mm-hmm. But when we are in a lifetime together, we tend to be sisters or like close friends, like sisters. They're talking about specifically, so I think they just changed themselves back to their higher self, like the way they tend to show themselves. But they're talking about how there was one lifetime, and I think this was my higher self's favorite. God, our energies are so similar. It kind of
really, that's so cool.
But she's saying that her favorite was when I think I was a boy, you were a girl, and we were just friends. But we saw each other as brother and sister, but then it eventually turned into more than that, even though it wasn't meant to in that lifetime.
Oh, why?
But it was because when you're a man and a woman, it doesn't matter, even if in that lifetime you're just always been friends in every other lifetime. There's always going to be a sexual tension there. It's just natural, especially for human. There's always going to be a sexual tension.
Now! That's funny.
Yeah. So there's part of the overall plan wasn't to engage with each other sexually, but it ended up happening anyway. Which it wasn't a wrong choice or anything. There are no wrong choices. It just wasn't part of the original plan. But we worked around it, and it just added more fun to that lifetime, I guess.
There it is. I was just talking to Jason about how, detours, they just create a scenic route to where you need to go. Yeah. So we took the scenic route. Oh, that's cool. All right. Well, they can look whatever they want to look like, but I want to hear a little bit about the planet and culture and anything interesting like that, because that's so fun.
They're asking currently or when we were alive on that planet.
Ooh, well, I want to
Because a
hear when
lot
you.
has changed, is what they're saying.
Yeah, well, tell me that then. Tell me how it was and in which state the planet. Are there still habitants on it?
Yes, there are, but a lot of us have ventured off the planet and now reside in other planets or on bases, on ships in other parts of space. They're saying that we do have contact with humans.
Hmm.
A lot of people feel like they come from our planet, that they're part of our culture, that they'll say they're a Sirian being. A lot of that, they're saying there's so many different types of Sirian beings. Or that
Okay.
whole area itself, there's so many different planets. They're saying within our solar system is very huge. And they're talking about how there's different habitable planets within that solar system, unlike ours, where there's only one. There's
Okay.
like
Oh,
several different
interesting.
ones in that one. So to say you're Sirian, it's like, well, which planet are you from? And it doesn't even pertain to that specific solar system itself. It can pertain to other solar systems nearby too. So a lot of it's Sirian is just a broad spectrum for just that area.
Okay.
And they're saying then that's not wrong. It's just that, we are all the same. We see ourselves as all the same now. We're not separate from one another.
Okay.
But during that time before we even left the planet, this is before we even had the technology to leave our planet when we were alive. And our system was set up almost like a monarchy. That's
Okay.
something similar that they're comparing it to. But it's a slightly different monarchy because the leaders are elected in, but not really by popular vote. It's more by certain people of high status decide who gets to go in as a leader. And it's not really a vote. It's more of like a general agreement.
Did it work? Was it successful?
The system collapsed eventually because everybody wanted it. The people who got to make the decision, who was going to be the leader, they were just out for it for themselves, or they would try to manipulate the elected leader behind the scenes. It was very corrupt because our nature, who we just weren't there in that maturity level yet. It's not that we weren't.
Okay.
It's not that we were evil. And they're saying you can apply this a lot to humanity. You see a lot of the systems not working. It's not because anyone's truly evil or corrupt.
It's because they're fearful of losing what's theirs. Yeah.
It just comes from a lack of maturity. Your species still has a lot of growing to do. So they're saying just don't be so hard on yourselves. And that's the same thing a lot of extraterrestrials do say. They always keep telling us, don't be so hard on yourselves. We're still growing. We like to think of ourselves, I feel like as humans, like I'm a little off topic. They're not saying this. This is me saying it. I feel like humans, we're like at the teenage level where we think we know everything and that we're adults and stuff.
Yes,
but we're really
teenagers
not.
Are the smartest people ever. They know everything.
Right. I feel like that's where we're at right now.
Okay.
Our higher selves are laughing. We're like, it's a good one. That's a good comparison.
I know they call us infants still. You're still in infancy, but no, we're in our teens.
We're in our teens. We feel like we know everything. We feel like we're ready. And
give me it all. I know what to do with this.
I already know. I know everything. Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Totally.
All right, so I want to tell me about it. Was I onto something about those clothes, or am I way off? What was that?
No, you're onto something, and they're saying it wasn't like it was a graphic design that was moving or anything. It was more like sequins, like a type of sequin.
Okay.
That moved with the light, and
that was just for fashion, just to be pretty and sparkly.
Mm-hmm. We're really big on fashion. They're saying our planet specifically really was.
So we are a creative species then, if we like fashion.
They're saying, yeah, you can think of it like that. We are. We're pretty creative. We're very similar to humans. We're very human-like. And that could be seen as scary. I know that some people don't see Sirian beings as positive beings because we're too much like humans. And some of us are. And they see humans... Because you see humanity and you see yourself as not a positive being, you're judging us based off of your own perspective of yourself and your own species. And you see that a lot with different species that are very human-like in nature. But we're saying we're not bad. We've had our flaws. Every species has and grows over time.
Where are you at now in your evolution like that? Like what kind of, do you have a government now that's working for you?
No, it's not a form of government. They're saying our people are free. but there are some general rules that we do follow. They're saying you could say it's a government, but it's not a government how you would think it to be, where people
Okay.
are voted in, or there's a lot of bureaucracy. There's none of that.
Okay.
They're saying that we do still get emotional sometimes, but we are getting better at knowing, of like separating ourselves emotionally from something and seeing things from the bigger picture.
Okay.
They're saying we're really good at that, but we are emotional beings, just like humans are. But we don't react out on our emotions like humans do. They tend to lose touch when they react emotionally, and that's how you get a lot of the problems you do.
Okay. Okay. That's like one of my life purposes, is to learn how to tame those emotions. So can you give Heather a picture of like what your planet looks like? Is it green? Is it red? Do you go above ground?
The planet they were on specifically reminds me of
Yes.
like the Amazon rainforest.
Oh, how beautiful. Okay.
But without all the dangerous kind of animals.
Okay.
And all the insects that try to kill you. But they're talking about, I'm seeing like big leaves from trees. It just reminds me of a forest, like a tropical kind of forest environment.
Okay.
They were saying that was just the part of the planet we lived on. There was a drier portion, but there was still a lot of trees even in the drier portion. There were just trees that were equipped to live within a drier environment. And the ground was very harsh in that area. And I'm seeing it kind of reminds me of those pine needles that fall from the trees, but they're all over. It's covering the whole ground, and it's rough, and it's like stepping on picas. Sorry.
Okay.
I guess picas.
Okay.
Those thorns, the little horns. We call them picas. So it's like stepping on those things. So you always have to wear shoes.
Ouchie! And they get stuck in your laces.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we have another. We want to investigate blobs too, but I want to invite you girls to share anything else that might be relevant or interesting or fun or anything.
They're talking about how that species in general looks forward to having continual contact with humans.
Okay. Are there any? Oh, I don't know. I was going to say, are there any Sirians in our group? But then I just remembered that you and I all know we all come from Source.
Yeah.
So we've all been everything. We're close to it.
Yeah, they said they have contact with us, and in saying that makes some people scared, only because of how they perceive us. But they're saying there's more and more people who are starting to see us as more positive, benevolent beings.
Well, why was there ever a negative connotation? Oh, you said because we're too similar to humans and we automatically attack. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Some people will disagree with what we're saying about Sirians because they're saying, again, it's such a huge group of us, and we all come from different planets within the same system. So we're not all entirely the same. But we all come from the same area, and we all fall under the same umbrella of Sirian. So I don't know which Sirian type we're talking to, but...
Right. Because, remember when we talked to Beautiful Mistress and I go, so you're Andromedan? And she laughed because she's like, that's an entire galaxy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm Andromedan. So that was funny.
But I like talking to this species. They're saying when people think negatively about Sirians, they associate it more to our species specifically, like who we are. Okay. The type of Sirian that we are.
There are many ETs that work with Earth and humanity. Are you guys, not you two, but the Sirians doing anything? Do they have any kind of contract to help? What do you guys do?
We're all part of the same group of individuals. So they're saying that what we choose to do, it depends on, they're saying like in a way, I guess some Sirians were not entirely together as one because some of us, it's kind of thinking about the different countries on Earth.
Okay.
Like we're all the same, but we still kind of like our culture a little bit.
Okay.
But it doesn't mean that keeps us separated.
Got it. I got it.
But they're saying that for them specifically, like their type, what they do is they don't make exactly direct contact. That's a different Sirian type that does that. Okay. What they do is they help with the You could call it the Galactic Council or Intergalactic Council, whatever.
Oofa, oofa.
Oofa. Oofa. That was our last video, if you guys haven't seen that. It's an inside joke. Oofa. So they're part of UFA, and they help UFA and that, like, go to the meetings, and they say, how can we... And it's not just about humans. They do this with, like, other species that are, you know, growing and things like that. They help each other, too, because they're saying how this... Even species that are in that council, they're still growing themselves. It was like, how can we help you as well?
Ourselves.
It's like a neighborhood group of...
Bunch of do-gooders.
Yeah.
Community do-gooders.
Yeah, helping each other out, you know.
Aw. Okay, well, Sirian usses, I'm excited to finally have met you. But I'm going to switch gears, and I'm going to find out about this blob stuff. Okay. All right? All right.
Jax. I don't even think he'll remember his name that we gave
him. Well, we just spoke to him on Silver Linings, and Jason started calling him Jessica, so he switched it for us for Jaxica, and apparently he didn't like that at all. But
it can be Jax either way on all the shows.
I love Jax. I know he's Jax.
Jaxy, Jax. He comes in like, what? I feel like I have to have an alter ego for this name. Like, I have to be an entirely different person dressed a different way.
He's so tired from hanging out with me and Jason earlier.
He's making a joke. Like, you guys give me a headache. You guys are a headache. Sorry, not you give me a headache. He's like, just kidding. I love you, babe.
So, Jax, were you a blob with Heather? I want to be a blob with you guys. I'm a blob now. I'm just kidding.
So, I remember that lifetime.
You remember being a blob?
It's great. So it's like this, it's like almost like the same intelligence level that a plant would have, like the same cognitive kind of, I mean, there's still very much, there's a soul there, there's a consciousness, but we're not like humans or any other type of extraterrestrial that's, I don't know how to explain it, but think of it like a plant consciousness. And it's like this clear gelatin substance, and it doesn't really have a form because it keeps changing and it keeps morphing and moving. And
what's its like physical purpose? Is there one?
Jax is talking. Almost gave it away. So what did the bubbles do? He's talking about, it's like a vacuum. They soak up substances and they feed off. There's substance in space. There's sometimes there's particles, there's dust. Like he's saying, for example, when a star bursts, he's talking about how there's particles that you can't see that float out as a result. Or when a planet gets hit by an asteroid, there's rocks and debris that flow out. And what the blobs do is they eat that. They soak it up into they don't have mouths. They just kind of like, they're moving gradually in space, and they just kind of goes into the.
That's like a plant converting our shit back into oxygen. Yeah. Kind of. Oh my gosh, you guys are just space cleaners.
Yeah. He's like, pretty much. You could, yeah. That's what it fucking
I'm thinking of like the sucker fish in the fish tank. You just sit there and clean all this shit up for everybody else.
Yeah. But it's so much fun because they'll come in waves. There's waves of them, and they're huge, huge waves, like as big as the ocean. Huge waves will come through, and none have come through Earth yet. Well, they're saying they have, but it was like so fucking long ago. So they like come through, and there's like different waves of them.
Could a human eye see it if it were presented in front of me?
In front of you, if you were to see them, sort of. It's almost like they're so clear. You would only see them if they were to have substance inside them, because you would see this clear. Yeah, they would see this clear circle, but little floating gelatin substance inside of it. Okay. But you don't really see them. They're very clear. So they could go through past Earth right now, and you probably wouldn't even see them. Like they're just this gelatin clear substance.
What's your lifespan, or what is a lifespan of it? And I forgot that next question. How are you born?
He's saying we never really die.
You're still a blob.
We just kind of, what happens is when we just morph in with someone else and it becomes one bigger blob when we're done.
Okay. Collective. That's so weird.
Yeah.
You guys are going to take over the entire
And it feels amazing, by the way. You can morph in and out of each other without becoming permanent. He's saying, I like to think of it like when you morph in and out of your higher self. It doesn't have to be permanent.
He gave you that image that time, remember? That he went into Minerva and pulled back out.
Yeah. So it's just like that. And you can pull back out whenever you want. So he's saying, in theory, me as a blob could come out anytime I want. I just decided to morph in with somebody because I was done being, the consciousness just leaves. So when the consciousness leaves, it's just a natural state for that blob. Me as a blob, I consciously was like, I'm done. I'm bored a little bit. I'm just going to go back and morph into this other bubble. And
why would you choose to be in that consciousness? Is it just to take a break from life or to be a do-gooder?
He's saying there's different reasons for it. One, you can think of it as the lifetime as a plant, a jellyfish. Jellyfish is the best comparison to that. It's moving with the wave, accepting how life goes and where it takes you and what comes at you. Because the blob doesn't really move around. Whatever comes at it just kind of takes it in. And then... But it doesn't destroy it. It just lets it flow through. So in that lifetime, I learned how to let things roll off my back. I take things in as they come. I follow the wave of where I'm being taken. And he's saying, and it's a group of us that really helps propel us forward. There's no wind in space. So there's just this, it's all of us as a collective that's pushing each other forward. But when he's talking about how great it feels when you morph in and out of the blobs. It's like sex, and it really does.
Is it sexy?
Like yes, it's very good. It's like this powerful rumbling. It's great. It's the best feeling. It's so fun.
Am I not a blob? Did I do time as a blob?
No, I don't pick up on
that shit.
Jax goes ding. You just started it.
I feel it already. That's so interesting. Huh. Do you have questions for Blobs?
No, I just love that. Whenever I feel really super stressed out and I'm feeling like life's becoming overwhelming, I think about that lifetime and I'm just kind of like jello. I'm like, yeah, man, just chilling as a blob.
I get high, you tap into the blob. I get it.
Tap into the blob.
So
or I drink. Or I drink, both.
Right.
Jax is saying when one doesn't work, you just go to the other one.
There you go. Okay, well, wasn't there something else we wanted to talk about? Something about the Arcturian, and I can't remember.
Arcturian me? I think
we can talk to her. You want to?
Yeah, we only done 30 minutes. So we could do, this will be the last person we talk to. We're talking to different past life versions. I don't know her name, but Jax is saying, you can bring her in. She's you. He keeps lecturing me, Jack's like saying, you don't have to keep thinking about it. I'm always like saying their name over and over or tapping.
Why? Is that how you tap in or whatever?
Yeah, for me,
Okay, me too. I'll just say the same name over and over and over again because I don't know what else to do.
I need a second. Okay. She's so pretty.
Tell me. Is her hair wet?
No, she has no hair.
I was going to say that next.
Wow, she's very clear. That's so weird. Today, I felt like I wasn't tapping in very well today with my channeling. I don't know, just feel a little off. And not that I was doing badly. I don't know. Maybe you think otherwise, but I don't know. It just felt a little off sometimes. I have my off days. I just feel out of place.
Uh-huh.
But she's coming in so clearly. It feels like I don't even have to try.
Wow, that's so cool. Have you connected with her before?
Once before. She said you don't have to connect. Her voice is so calm and like she's saying you don't have to try to connect to me. We already are connected.
Are you guys especially close? Like, was there some absorption going on or something?
Yes. She's so calm. Makes me just want to chill. Anyway, I want to explain how she looks. She's beautiful.
Yes.
She's like a purple color, dark purple, but it's kind of like there's this blue sheen to it too. It's like a bluish purple.
Mm.
And she looks like that typical Arcturian photo you see of like the big bulbous head, but they're all purple or blue and they have the big black eyes, but it's not menacing looking. It looks so angelic.
Hmm.
Um, and she
Are
has
you
such
alive right now?
Yes, she's saying she wants to get into that, but she's waiting for me to finish describing her.
Oh, okay, sorry.
She says, go on. What was I going to say? Shit, I forgot. Whatever, it doesn't matter anymore. I'll go
No,
back.
it does. Okay, it'll come back to you though.
Yeah.
So she's very tall.
Very tall, yeah. And she's talking about, she has her hands out in front of her, like folded out in front, all perfect, all like calm and shit. She has a small, that's what I want to talk about, her smile. It's a very simple, pleasant kind of smile. She's always smiling. She's never frowning, I feel like.
Oh.
Anyway, she's talking about how, she said, of course I'm always smiling. I love my life. There's something to smile about. Wow, she's so much happier than me. Me every day. Me every fucking day, minor inconvenience. I'm gonna fucking kill myself. That was
You're tapping the spoiled brats. I gotta take out the trash. Fuck that.
Right. No, she's finding this funny, but this morning I was trying to pour my coffee and I just like totally missed the cup and like spilled it all over the counter. I'm like, I'm gonna fucking kill myself. Like, I'm not gonna clean this. I'm not gonna do it. Anyway, I know. She's like, you must stop saying those things. Anyway, she's talking about I'm ready for you to talk now about how you're here and things like that.
I want to hear how you influence Heather too, how you guys are connected and how that plays into each of your lives.
She says that I was always meant to come into this lifetime. As Arcturians, we're always finding innovative ways in which to help humanity. And she says, we do this with other species, as you've been told before. She said, but right now our primary focus is humans, because you're at a very big part of your evolution is a huge shift. And we've helped with your previous shifts. She's talking about there's different shifts throughout a species, existence, I guess. So this isn't a first big shift within our species. It's just one of many. And she's saying that she knew she needed a human body to come into in order to help influence humanity. She said there's a lot we can do as where we're at. We're in an entirely different dimension. But there's some limitations to that. Most of you can't hear us, you can't see us. Therefore, how could we ever influence you, help you? And she's saying by influence, I'm not meaning drive you to enforce you into a way of thinking or a way of life. Mm-hmm. She's saying it's more of helping to guide you down a direction. She's saying that you can either choose or not choose to go through, but still the energy of our existence, the energy of us being there influences you in some capacity, whether or not we do talk to you. And she's saying that I chose this human body because I was familiar with this family. She's talking about my family. So we were talking about them in third person. She's saying I was familiar with this family and this energy. I knew them from previous lifetimes. They're very tapped into our previous lifetimes and the energies of others. We feel energy. We soak in that energy. We translate that energy. Everything is energy. And that explains why I channel like that too. I tap into energy. I don't really hear.
Is your consciousness part of what dropped into Heather when she was a little tyke?
Yes, it is the only consciousness, she said.
Oh, that's so cool. Did you know that was her when you...
Yeah, I remember she's saying it's quite odd you're talking to both the same person. She's saying it's a little different than talking to the higher self version of someone.
Yeah, I thought about that a second ago too, yeah.
My consciousness is in this body. I'm right here in this... I'm here. I'm in the body. That's so weird.
Are you in other bodies too?
She's saying no, as in meaning what you're asking. But she's saying,
Okay.
yes, technically I am in other bodies, just not this consciousness, this version of me.
Okay.
It's only in
Okay.
the human body. But
And
she's
is she
saying
equally in your body, or is it like
it's
a
all happening concurrently.
no? But I mean, you know how you dropped into Heather's body? Is she also in your Arcturian? Is it because it's this? I don't know. It's the same.
She's saying
That's
you're
a
not
tricky
quite
one.
saying you're not quite understanding. A lot of people have the same experience. A lot of people are alive in the same way.
Okay.
She's saying we are the same energy, the same. Yes, we come from our higher self, which our higher self comes from another oversoul. She's saying which comes from a source. We're all
Right.
part of the same. She's using the word source because we use it. It all comes from the same blob. She was listening to us before. But it's this, when you break it down into those tiny pieces, rather than this soul from the higher self coming into the body, which happens to most, it's a specific incarnation, which each incarnation has its own energetic signature, because each experience and the people we're around and our influences in that lifetime morph our energy a little bit and changes us up.
Okay.
So that's why she's saying that it was really this incarnation that came in. My incarnation, this specific energy signature that's in this body. It's different than a higher self.
Okay. Gosh, that's weird.
It is weird.
Who are there any of the other M6 incarnated with you that you spend time with or grow and learn with? Because I know we do that. We come together.
My husband? Sam.
Oh.
Aww.
Oh, now see, that one is tricky to me because there's some ambiguity about Sam in the group. So we're gonna investigate that one day too. Unless she's got something to say.
She's saying that he's my husband to me. She's saying husband because of the husband to human.
To Heather, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
She's saying, but I know him as an Arcturian as well.
Okay.
I'm still remembering when I jumped into this body.
Right.
I still remember standing there and looking at 2-year-old me. I was 2, and I was blowing those little flowers, those little wishers. And it was, my mom even has a picture of it. I could pull it up right now. A picture of me blowing on the
I think I've seen it. I feel like I have.
On the little flowers, yeah. And I remember I had to have my brother. It felt like a brother energy of the Arcturian that I was with.
Uh-huh.
And he was saying, you don't have to do this if you don't want to. No one will judge you. No one will say that, you weren't brave enough or something like that.
You can't tell me what to do. And then she jumps. I'm just kidding.
No, I was just thinking because I already knew how the life would pan out. I saw the future and how hard it was going to be and how painful it can be to be human. But it would also be filled with a lot of joyous moments. And I tried to focus more on that rather than the pain I would feel.
Right.
And I'm saying, no, I will do it. I promised. I gave my word. And plus I need to help. It's not about me. And before I came into the body, I was like, well, might as well just get this over with. Because I knew once I fully jumped in, I couldn't go out. I couldn't leave. And if I wouldn't have decided to come into the body, it would have been someone else. So.
That would have changed everything. I might not be sitting here right now.
Yeah. And so sometimes I regret my decisions, but, I have to remember, sometimes I get lost in humanity and, it's so easy to lose your purpose, to forget it. Not lose it, but forget it. You get lost in the muck,
Mm-hmm. So what's your name? Is it something a human can pronounce?
You could just call her Magenta, I think.
Okay, that's kind of the color of my shirt today. A warrior color. So Magenta?
Yeah, go for it. Sorry, I was just going to say something about the brother.
Go
when
ahead.
I first met, he was the first Arcturian I ever channeled. He was the one who came to me, and he had told me about this lifetime. I was starting to remember it. a little more, and so that's when he came to me to tell me about it. And really, he's one of my guides. He's here to help me, and he said he was going to be with me the whole time. When I jumped into the body, I remember him saying, "Well, I'm going to be right here the whole time."
Aw.
Anyway, but he likes, even though he's a blue color, he said his name's Vermilion. He said, "Call me Vermilion." Vermilion's like a red color, I think.
Yeah, that's interesting.
So I thought that was hilarious. I think it was him being funny.
He's colorblind.
Yeah.
Like the other men in our lives. Just kidding. That's funny. Huh.
Maybe that's his favorite color. Maybe that's why.
So, Magenta, what do you have anything to share with us that might, we're always looking for help and ways to grow ourselves, and I don't know.
She says, "I'm here to offer up helping humans with loving each other and themselves. Pointing out your mistakes can be painful, and that's what I aim to do, is to point out ways that you have pulled yourselves back, but then offering up a solution at the same time. Because you must also recognize your actions before you can react and heal yourself. Trying to escape your history will not help you heal the wounds." I don't know what she's talking about exactly.
I don't know either. Is it like on the grand scale of humanity or personal scale, or
both?
And how? Okay, well, lay one on us then. Point it out and redirect. And
she's funny. She's saying, "I will do that in time."
Okay.
She said, "I picked the medium of writing as my tool to use."
Okay.
For applying this healing and this teaching of learning to accept yourselves and your neighbors. The best way to learn to love each other is to learn to love yourselves first. And she said, "But it's hard for me to grasp that concept fully as a human because I have yet to learn that." So.
Yes. And you know what? That's another theme of your book too, because I'm not saying that Margaret didn't like herself, but I bet like a future version of her would look back and go, "Ew, I was a little brat."
Oh, yeah, because she does.
In that context, she probably doesn't like herself and doesn't even realize it. So through those, maybe do you help Heather channel the messages in that book too, of finding her self-love and kind of personal redemption?
She's saying there is no channeling involved since we are each other.
Oh, that's true. That's true. Okay, then creating.
Yeah. She's saying that that book's going to be a big influence, and I hope so.
It's going to make her some damn money.
She won't be wealthy from it, but she will be famous from it.
Wow!
I don't like that. I just want to make an income off of it. Not like rich, but I want to be able to live off my writing. But anyway, that's my goal. But
me too. I don't need riches beyond comparison.
And I don't like, and to me, my ego tells me, "Oh, that's your ego channeling. You'll be famous and blah blah blah." I don't think famous in like a celebrity though, not like that. But not to that status.
Your name will be known in certain circles. Maybe it's that kind of.
Yeah, like that in certain circles. Mm-hmm. But she's saying that like not everyone understands the message that she's trying to give, that I'm trying to give, and I'm starting to feel that too. Some people who read the book, more specifically my editor, is just completely missing my entire thing, and but it's pointing out, because she's saying for a bad guy, because there's like some bad guys, there really is no good or bad, and I really wanted to point that out in the book. But she's saying for a bad guy, it seems a little off that they're saying sweetie or blah blah blah, and I'm like, because this person isn't bad, they're a product of their environment.
It's another perspective on life. He's still a regular person, just has this kind of filter. I get it. Okay. Yeah. That's interesting. We were kind of talking about that the other day, about how frustrating it is to not get your point across in your writing. Oh.
Yeah, and so she's telling me to stick to your guns and stick to what you want the book to be about. Never mind what the editor says. She's there to help you get the book noticed in a professional sense, because she's saying that it's going to help because it's so unprofessional right now. But it's just going to make it better.
Okay.
And she's saying it's going to be hard to find someone that's going to see it how you see it. Um, will I find an agent? You will. Okay. I'll make sure. We'll make sure it happens. I'm gonna publish it with or without an agent, so they can suck my clit. The whole industry can suck my fucking clit. It's so different because
Heather's gonna revolutionize it.
I hope so. I really want to, but I also know at the same time that's not why I came here. Anyway, so what messages do you have for like humans or anything? Because I kind of made this about me.
That's my specialty, but other people can often get their own messages from my message. So, yeah, okay, go ahead, give the damn humans a message. Just kidding.
She said, "I've already have."
Okay. The end.
She's saying that our Arcturian beings are channeled a lot, so you would just have to find our messages. There's nothing that I can say that hasn't already been said.
Okay.
She's saying, I don't particularly like being repetitive, she said. Okay. And I feel like that's why we don't channel popular beings on our show, really, because it's so repetitive. What are we going to add to it that hasn't already been added, you know?
Right. I'm like that, too. Not that I ever watch anybody else's stuff, but I do like to go off the beaten path. I like the scenic route. So yeah. I like that, too. Do you ever come to Earth? Are you ever physically here or no?
She's being a little smart ass.
She's like I'm already here. I'm Heather.
Yeah.
She is a brat. You're a sassy brat.
She said we cannot physically be in the same dimension as you. Okay,
yeah, you said that before, and that confuses me. Do you have a way to explain that to me? Because that's a tricky one.
We're in another dimension. You are in a physical... You are in a third dimension. Okay. You are a third-dimensional being. We are not in a third dimension. And she's saying humans have mixed up the idea of... She's saying your vibration versus your physical dimension that you are in. We physically are in another dimension. That is not to mean that because of how old we are or how, she's saying like, I can't hear that word she's saying, but it's kind of like people think of like their level of enlightenment or whatever. Right. She's saying that has nothing to do with your dimension that you live in. Humans, you will continue to grow and become much more enlightened, but you will never physically move up to another dimension. You will always remain in your same dimension.
Got it.
But that does not mean you will not grow. That does not mean your vibration will not change. You can jump to other dimensions for short periods of time. You call that astral traveling. That is a possibility. However, that's because you have to leave the physical body.
I got it. Okay. Are you a physical body too? Just in a different dimension?
Yes. Okay. And we can jump through different dimensions quite easily.
Why can you do that and not us? Because we're humans and we don't have that skill?
You haven't quite learned the skill and mastery. Okay. Some of you can already do it very easily and very well, but not many of you. You're learning and grasping that concept. You will get there eventually. She's saying you still think of it as separate. Astral realm and physical, the physical realm you're living in is separate. Once it becomes more of a cohesive together thought, it's one. It's one place. You're in the same place. To us, we think of it as the same thing.
Okay. So let me challenge her because this will maybe help clear it up. So if it is one place, why can't you come to ours?
We do. You just do not see us. A lot of you cannot see us. A lot of you only see us through here.
Okay.
You will be able to sense our energy and be able to feel it strongly if we were to come into the room with you. But it's much like how a spirit would appear to you.
Okay. All right. That makes enough sense. I don't understand it all the way, but I get it enough.
She's saying, meaning that they're same thing as in, yes, the physical body is physical. They're different in that aspect that one's physical and one is more lucid. She's saying more fluid. They're different in that way, but they are but what I mean by that they're the same is that they're not separate experiences. They're not separate lives you're living. A lot of people think of it as imaginary or as dreams. They classify it as something entirely different. it's another life. It's another version of you experiencing that. It's the same person. It's the same soul within the body that's experiencing that.
Do you mean like an astral experience or something? Is
Yeah.
that what you mean?
Yeah.
Okay.
Some people think of it as just dreams or another version of you doing
It's
that.
it's so hard for, it doesn't, it's such a, we say dreamlike for a reason. That means that it's vague and some things are just symbols for other things. Is that like that for you, or can you like fully like, is it dreamlike to you when you switch places?
No. It'll feel less dreamlike the more you experience it. She said it comes with practice.
How do you practice that? Do you belch?
She finds it funny. She's me burping. Anyway, you just learn how to. I can teach. I have like lessons I can give on how to astral travel.
That's okay. So it's just
I
that.
have it
Okay.
in the group. I have it in the Stardust group too, on one of the files, and you can read it. How to astral project yourself. It takes practice. It takes time. Like it took me a while to get it, but I got it.
That happens to me sometimes, and I just always felt like it really doesn't feel real. It really, really doesn't. But I don't know. I love it when they take on a life of their own, and and it's like retelling a dream. I know we create it, but at the same time, it doesn't feel like we're creating. It feels like we're along for the ride, and it's fun. All right. Well, I don't know if I have any more questions. Oh, I do. I like to make it all about me. So is there an Arcturian version of me floating around you?
Well, not like in the same way that the version of me is. So it's not really like she's alive kind of thing. It's like there is another life you had as one.
I wanted to know if we were friendsies. I guess not. Not that one.
She's saying we are.
Well, in this one.
She's smarter.
All right, so we're at just about an hour. So you want to?
Yeah, we'll wrap it
Thanks,
up.
Magenta. Thanks, Blobs. Thanks, other us's. That was cool.
Yeah. I'm really fucking tired. I can't even think right now. Your event. Did you want to talk about that?
Just briefly again. I'm getting ready. I'm doing some tweaks to an itinerary so that people can see what's going to happen. And since this is the first time for doing this, my itinerary is just going to be a base. Some people, may take longer, shorter, whatever, change their mind, whatever. So anyway, this is just a little sample of what's to come. But I'm not going to go into it too much because you can go to my page, my site, my links, whatever, and find out everything you need to find out. You can also message me. I'm glad to answer any questions. But Heather's coming. Silver Linings Live next month in a couple weeks, November 10th and 9th and 10th.
Yeah, I'm going to trance channel, and then I don't know who yet, just whoever the fuck at that moment. I'll feel the energy of the crowd and see who they want.
Yeah, that's one of the things is I feel like it's a small crowd, so we can kind of vote on what to do next or whatever. I like that.
And teaching how to channel like basics into that. Well, maybe not basics. It depends on the crowd. Again, they may be
there you go,
more advanced. So might even teach people how to trance channel for themselves.
Ooh,
that would be fun. If you're coming to the event, I'm offering readings, and they're going to be at a cheaper price than my online readings because, you already paid a ticket to come to the event. I'm not going to make you pay full price for a reading for me while you're there. Just something cheaper.
Good girl. And I'll have a sign-up. You can contact Heather in advance, or I'll have a sign-up sheet there if you want to decide to do it then. So well, I have such a small group that I can be that flexible and let it, roll like that.
And then I'm also... wanted to talk about, I can show my really lame ass fucking dream catcher real quick.
Yes, let me see because remember I was like, it's your first one. Is it lopsided and adorable?
It's crooked, it's disgusting, and I hate it.
Let me have it.
I'm trying to make it.
Oh no, that's okay. Oh no, I thought it was going to be so much more wobbly. That's okay, girl. You're getting it. Ugh.
But there's beads in it, and I'm collecting real feathers for it. Or at least trying to. If I can't, there's one dream catcher that may not have all the feathers being really real feathers. But
I bet you can go to Sarah and take a few of hers. She's got a drawer full of collected feathers.
I have a lot of feathers myself. But They're made with, I really want to talk about what they're made out of real quick.
Okay.
Before we end there.
Yeah.
It's made with real sinew, and sinew comes from an animal. Native Americans, we use this is the same across every tribe. We respect the life of the animal by using every single part of it.
Don't waste that shit.
Yeah. It helps to create the balance and stuff. Anyway, but I'm using real leather, real sinew, and I'm using glass beads, which glass beads are like the better kind of beads. They don't break as easily. They're not cheap. And I'm going to be hopefully using real feathers. At least every dream catcher is going to have at least one real feather.
You mentioned real feathers before, and this has nothing to do with your artwork, your projects, but is there really a fake feather? I mean, I've seen feathers that are dyed and shit. I always thought those were real feathers that just processed.
No,
those are
they're
actual
like
fake feathers?
Yeah.
Trippy. I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, you can buy them in huge bundles at like Michael's or something, which I got some from Michael's. But yeah, I'm really happy with it, like with the fact that I'm doing that, and because I'm a Reiki master, I'm adding my my healing to it. Mm-hmm.
Bring your stuff to Texas and sell some with the Silver Lining Special.
Yeah.
The 17% discount.
I'm also selling my bracelets too. Oh yeah, it's $12.17 for me. Yeah, so I'm selling bracelets. I'm also doing readings still. And then I'm offering channeling classes, like personal one-on-one. I can teach you.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
okay.
I'm offering like teaching you how to trance channel, and if you're already had been practicing channeling on your own, but you want like some extra help or like a nudge or something, then I offer one-on-one sessions. But yeah.
All right, look that shit up.
Mm-hmm.
All right, you look like you need a nap.
I am.
I'm gonna go take Layla shopping. That's my day. I know. That's okay. I'm gonna take her and her little friend, and I'm such a bitch about it. I'm like, that is not a good bargain. You may not get that. And I said, I won't boss you guys around today. Get whatever you want. You can blow your money on anything and get ripped off if you want to. I'll keep my mouth shut. Such a brat about that. All right, sissy pants. We'll wrap up. I love you.
I love you too.
I'll talk to you later, baby.
All right.
Bye.